At number 10, we have Someya. One of the better characters in Yakuza 6, and a clear point where they actually took writing their antagonists seriously again. It is such a stark difference compared to the antagonist of the previous entry, Yakuza 5. Getting someone as cool as Someya, the only downside is that someone like him wouldn't have gotten this much focus if he was in 5 or 4.
Someya is shown off as the new guy in the Tojo clan. This young pretty boy who seems like a cutthroat businessman sort of like Mine, especially with how formal his speech is actually just as old-fashioned as the old Yakuza, like Kuze or Ryuji. This is hard to believe at first glance, but I mean hell, he doesn't even have a tattoo like most Yakuza, since it's considered such an old tradition, based on what he's been saying in the early parts of the game.
That image that he gave us from the start slowly sheds itself into a different person, as he never really did anything crazy. The first fight, sure, he is a little disrespectful and threw guys at you instead of fighting, but he does eventually accept the fight with Kiryu. He even gets danced up with Kiryu instead of just trying to take him by surprise like others have tried doing. He lost. The second time they fight, he had a gun pointed at Kiryu, but instead of taking the supposed easy way, he tosses the gun away and fights with his fists instead. Before this, he offered a partnership in order to find Big Lo, as well as knocking the shit out of one of his seniors at a dinner they were having. After that same senior kept trashing Kiryu's name. These actions show his true ideals that are just the same as any other old Yakuza, but if he ever wanted to rise up in the ranks, he had to push those old-fashioned ideals deep down. Thanks to every interaction he had with Kiryu, those same ideals mentioned previously always reared its head.
Kiyomi, the woman he had a daughter with and used to be with, told a different story revealing a human side of Someya. Someone who used to fight for things that he cared about, which that's really how he bagged her in the first fucking place. Of course, he didn't react too kindly when she brought up that she didn't like what he was doing for a living. But I mean, can you really fucking blame her? Can you ask yourself that? Can you blame her?
Sadly, however, this all culminates in Someya and Kiryu's last fight together. Prior to the final fight, and after Hirose's funeral, he tells Kiryu that Sugai is planning on selling the Tojo clan to Owami, and that hitmen will be coming after Kiryu. He also tells Kiryu that he doesn't want to see him be killed by such weak opponents, and how he'll try to take the Tojo from Sugai in order to get a proper challenge from Kiryu. Someya really grew to respect Kiryu after this whole ordeal, which is why he's even telling him any of this info to begin with. But unfortunately, it was too late for any of that info to be really useful.
Kiryu, Akiyama, and the Onimichi boys, aka the Yakuza 6, decided that it was time to put an end to these games by going to the Millennium Falcon. Fuck the Millennium Falcon. Decided that it was time to put an end to these games by going to the Millennium Tower like usual. Too bad Iwami and Sugai are pussies. So instead, they forced Someya to fight Kiryu. No discussions this time. Someya immediately attacks and some peak-ass Yaku music starts right here.
Someya is fighting with everything he's got here compared to the last few encounters. You'd assume that he's a lying piece of shit with all that he said to Kiryu about swiping the Tojo clan from Sugai beforehand, but none of it really lines up with his actions during the game, causing a little bit of confusion.
This fight is so badass. The cinematic in this fight looks amazing, and Someya really sells that he is fighting like his life depended on it, going for a killing blow with each strike from his sword until Kiryu finally disarms him and beats him hand to hand. After Someya loses, Sugai and Iwami reveal this unprompted fight was because Kiyomi was kidnapped, and if Someya didn't kill Kiryu, then she would be killed.
Someya begged Kiryu to kill him, but it was too late and he had killed himself as quickly as possible to save her, but then she dies. My fault, quote-unquote, dies.
To Someya's knowledge, he died failing, but she was okay in the end because Koshimizu, this guy, he was bad guy, but that does not really mean he is bad guy.
Someya didn't affect the story much after this game, but his death showed Kiryu what kind of man he truly was, and as Kiryu was beating Owami's ass, one of those punches was definitely for Someya. It also gave some perspective to Kiryu once again that this will all end only in one way, just like Someya, which is probably why he made the decision that he made at the end of Yakuza 6, because if he didn't run away from his problems, someone like Someya probably would have died under better leadership. Who knows? Sadly, this is still low in these rankings, mostly because despite how cool Someya was, his death and whatever he did in this game did not affect the future, except for saving his ex, who we don't even see again either. It also didn't really redeem him for any of the terrible shit he did, but his final act did humanize him. Personally, I'd rank him higher at like 9, but I got outvoted for the next person on the list. See you guys then.
Number 10, Takeya Someya.